Here we go. I know today, Matthew, I wrote this day, but I know this passage for today in the written content, in the book that we handed out. I know this is a special passage to you because a couple of years ago, we did a sermon series called The GOAT. And the challenge was that all of the speakers on our team were given the opportunity to pick what they thought was the greatest sermon ever. So you got to pick, like, I want to preach the greatest sermon ever. And you actually picked Psalm 27. All of the passages, all of the hundreds of sermons that you've preached in your ministry, you chose Psalm 27. You can go back on the website or through the app and you can look up all of those GOAT sermon series. But give me the why behind Psalm 27 for you, that was the text that you chose to preach.
Yeah, it was so hard to choose. That series was tough because it was, what you think is like the greatest passage in the Bible, and so then therefore the greatest message you could preach. Like, all that was hard because it's like, well, there's a bunch of things, a bunch of great, awesome GOAT passages in the Bible, and yet I chose this one because it had the biggest impact on my life. Verse 4 specifically of Psalm 27, David's deep desire to seek the Lord and to see his beauty. He said, one thing that I want, one thing I'm asking of the Lord is that I would dwell in his house. And the reason that he's dwelling in his house, he says, is to gaze upon his beauty. So he's not just like, trying to get free lodging in the temple, but the point is, one thing that I'm asking is to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life so that I can see the Lord's beauty. And that's just one of the like major themes of my life, is that's what changed my life, is that the Lord is beautiful. He's not just the Lord, but he's also great and worth our life. And so therefore the best thing I could ask for would be to be in his presence forever, not just in heaven, but starting now, gaze upon his beauty. And so that was why that passage, Psalm 27 verse 4, man, fire.
I might, since we're doing Psalm 27 today, I might go back and listen to that message, man, just get some additional insight.
Well, it was a few years ago.
From Psalm 27. Well, it ages like wine, doesn't it? It just gets better.
Yep. Well, that's what we'll say. Okay. I hope that no one tests it out. Don't taste the wine. Yeah, don't do it.
So you mentioned how powerful verse 4 for you was, and you even mentioned a word you said when David says to seek. I actually pulled 4 points from a passage that is obviously finding David in prayer, but also waiting. And 4 words that we can pull out from these first few verses of Psalm 27 that can help instruct us on, like, how do we wait on the Lord? How do we do it well? You're going to wait. We're waiting now. David was waiting on things. The instances in prayer and scripture where people are waiting on God to hear from God or for God to answer, to God to open up a door are countless. And so I just pulled a few words. When you have to wait, do it fast. 4 letters.
I like that. I like a little acronym.
You gave a little preview of the S, but the first one is this, and here's what David does. When he's waiting, he has to really be mindful of what he's focusing on. When you are waiting, and when I am waiting in prayer, it's very easy to focus on the uncertainties, the unknowns. When is it going to happen? Why hasn't it happened? We begin to focus on the problem. We begin to focus on ourselves, on our situation. David teaches us in Psalm 27 and other times throughout the Psalms, hey, there's got to be a moment in the waiting room where we begin to focus our attention and our affection on the Lord. So switch it from how big your problem is to how big your God is. You've heard that saying before. So David checks us on like focus, turning it on, like even asking the right questions, like what opportunity is God presenting to me right now? What am I missing right now? What is God trying to teach me? Instead of like, why hasn't it happened yet? Why is the problem seem to be compounding? What is God doing? So switch your focus on that. The second one that David models for us is once your focus switches from your problems to God, the only proper response when you see God is adoration and admiration. Like David breaks out into a little praise break in Psalm 27. So he's down on himself and he's down on his problems and his situation. And he's like, oh, shoot, man, I got to check myself before I wreck myself, put my focus back on God. And then when he sees God for who he is and he's reminded of the character of God, it's worship. Man, God, you are great. You are mighty. You are in control. You have a plan. You are faithful. You've always made a way. You have always listened to me. You've always protected and provided for your people. There's this admiration fast. When you're waiting, focus first. Shift your admiration and your admiration towards God. Adore him. And then the third one you said that meant so much to you, David focuses, adores God, and then he starts to seek.
Yeah, the waiting becomes, like you said, I thought that sentence that you said and that written content is that it's becomes an active exercise when you seek God. There is something that my wife and I will do with our dog to try to wear him out a little bit so that he loses his annoying energy, and then we'll go to sleep and stay asleep all night, where we play a dog and human version of hide and seek. One of us will keep him and hold him in one room. The other one will take a treat and then go run and hide somewhere in the house, and then release the dogs, and let him run. And you say, where is he or where is she? And then he starts looking and play hide and seek. And the point is that it takes effort for him to seek out. Like, he has to do stuff. That's why it tires him out. That's why it wears him out. He takes mental exertion. He's sniffing, trying to follow the scent of the treat and of the human. And he's also looking and running and walking, the whole time. It wears him out because seeking is something that's active. It's something that you have to do. And so it works in that way. And it's the same way with us. Like, seeking is something that takes the faith and the trust and puts it into action, that we really want to see God. We want to gaze upon his beauty, as verse 4 says. But then at the same time, it's something that we know we have to do. We can't just, I really want that. Okay, I'm glad you really want that. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to read his word? Are you going to pray? Are you going to be in fellowship with other believers? Are you going to worship? Or are you going to do the focus and the adoring? Or are you just going to say, I want it, and then do nothing about it? So I like that active element that seeking also implies.
There you go. If you want to know what a wild, crazy night at the Cawthorn house is, it's involves
hide and seek with your dog,
hiding dog treats throughout the house and wearing the dog out. Last one is T, fast, F-A-S-T, is trust. When you begin to seek the Lord, when you focused on him, when you've had a moment of praise and worship and adoration, it culminates in like this reminder that God is trustworthy. I can trust him. Mm-hmm. I can put my faith in him. Like, there's no reason for me to panic right now in the waiting, and reestablishing our trust in the Lord. Trust is especially hard when answers aren't clear, when answers aren't coming, when you get an answer that you don't like, or it's looking like it's trending in the wrong direction. Those are the moments when we tend to lose trust, and kind of it's waning as we're waiting. And so David just has to say, hey, man, wait, hold on a minute. We're going to trust. Yeah. I'm going to reestablish my trust in God because he's faithful and he's earned it. So fast, if you want to know how to wait, I know you want the Lord's answers to be fast, but I believe the scriptures teach us that we actually have to wait fast on the Lord. So try to put some of those things into practice today, because for us, what's going on around us and what life looks like can sometimes overwhelm us. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, man, we need to take a step back, and instead of focusing on the life that we find ourselves in and what we're living right now, we need to focus on the God that is with us in the midst of that life. So today, pray, fast. GOAT passage from Matthew, greatest of all time. Focus, adore, seek, and trust. Try to put those 4 things into practice today as you continue to wait and do it fast.